In an America defined by political division, immigration policy is a battleground. Recent polls show a nation split. 57% of Republicans back hardline border security, while overall approval for the current administration's handling of immigration sits at a contentious 49%. This week, we're not just looking at one story, but 4 pivotal events that reveal the human cost and quiet triumphs behind the headlines. From a feel-good success story to a Supreme Court bombshell, we'll break down what's happening, why it matters, and provide the expert legal perspective you need to understand it all. Let's dive in. First, an uplifting story of perseverance. Amid ongoing debates over immigration, Anna Sherman's journey went viral. After moving to the U.S. alone at 17, she navigated 6 different visas over 11 years to finally become a U.S. citizen in October 2024. She described the moment she held her passport as surreal, after years of meticulous compliance and self-reliance. It was a personal triumph she shared on social media, not with fanfare, but with raw appreciation for the country that became her home. Her story gained traction against a backdrop of heated election rhetoric and a shifting immigration landscape. With net international migration falling to its lowest levels in decades, her narrative of self-made integration stands in stark contrast to divisive invasion claims. Sherman's path echoes the rigorous process many legal immigrants endure. It's a journey that has become even more scrutinized under policies like the proposal to curb student visa abuse, adding pressure to an already difficult path. For now, Anna Sherman's achievement serves as a beacon, proof that unwavering commitment can overcome immense bureaucratic hurdles, and a reminder of the perseverance that helps shape the American story. Now, from a story of hope to a drama unfolding on the streets. On September 8th, the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 shadow-docket order, gave ICE a green light for roving patrols in Los Angeles. This allows agents to conduct stops based on factors like race, language, or appearance. The administration hailed it as a victory for public safety. Supporters like Sean Hannity argue it gives law enforcement essential tools, pointing to DHS data that 80% of detainees had prior criminal records. Former advisor Stephen Miller put it more bluntly, stating the ruling dismantles the radical left's shield for illegals. But civil rights groups were horrified. The ACLU called it a license for racial profiling. CNN's Jake Tapper warned it was unleashing a genie of suspicion that could haunt every brown face in America. Attorney Chris Ingram weighs in on the legal implications. From a practitioner's view, this shadow docket streamlines enforcement but risks constitutional overreach. It empowers Homeland Security operationally, but it amplifies litigation over due process for citizens and non-citizens alike. An enforcement-first approach doesn't just impact individuals. It can send shockwaves through the economy. On September 5th, ICE staged the largest single-site raid in history at a Hyundai battery plant in Georgia, detaining 485 South Korean workers over alleged visa overstays. The dawn raid was chaotic. One engineer described it as a war zone. Within days, 400 workers were repatriated on shackled flights. The administration defended the raid as essential enforcement.
They were illegal aliens, and ICE was just doing its job.
Supporters argue it's about compliance. As Laura Ingram said, it's not anti-ally, it's pro-worker, ensuring investments hire locals first. But the diplomatic and economic fallout was immediate. Hyundai's vice president declared the raid halts progress. South Korea, a key ally, threatened to pull $20 billion in investments, prompting a bipartisan group of senators to demand an investigation. Our attorneys point out that this case highlights a critical legal friction point. Temporary worker visas often clash with the reality of long-term projects, creating compliance snags that ICE can exploit. While the raid is within DHS authority, it shows a desperate need for clearer guidelines to protect legitimate foreign investments. Finally, a story about a lifeline being cut. On September 12th, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals cleared the way for the administration to terminate Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, for more than 500,000 people from countries like Haiti, Cuba, and Venezuela. These are people who fled earthquakes, hurricanes, and armed conflict. Many have lived and worked in the U.S. for over a decade, paying taxes and raising American children. Supporters of the decision, like Sean Hannity, argue the program was never meant to be permanent, and that ending it is a necessary step to fix a broken system. Even some with personal connections, like Republican Representative Maria Salazar, see a need for change, calling for reform alongside revocation, though she described the current approach as wrong without mercy. Our researchers provide this legal context. The court's decision defers to the executive branch's authority, which is consistent with precedent. This ruling, while heartbreaking for many, is a stark legal reminder that TPS is not a permanent status. It places immense pressure on Congress to create lasting legislative solutions. A story of success, a court ruling on suspicion, a strained alliance, a humanitarian crisis. 4 stories that paint a picture of a nation at a crossroads, where the enforcement of policy meets the reality of human lives. The immigration landscape is more complex than ever. If you need expert guidance, visit our website to schedule a consultation. Thanks for watching.